Welcome back to SoFlo TV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. This is a U.S. immigration update video. In this video, we will discuss the suspension of certain visas. We will explain who is affected, what visas will be canceled or suspended, and who will be sent packing, and who will be denied entry into the United States of America. Per Reuters.com, Trump suspends entry of certain foreign workers despite business opposition. U.S. President Donald Trump has suspended the entry into the United States of certain foreign workers on Monday. That was done on the 6th of the 7th, 2020. Now, this is a move that the White House has said would help the coronavirus battered economy, which business groups strongly oppose to this. On one hand, you have this could benefit because it will create jobs for Americans, and on the other hand, you have companies that depend on these employees because they get high-skilled workers at a lower money margin than they would have to pay an American to work that same job. Especially in the tech field, companies like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, these are top companies. IBM, Facebook, and Apple are companies that are going to be strongly hit by this. So Trump has issued a presidential proclamation that temporarily blocks foreigners from entering on the H-1B visa for skilled employees and the L visas for managers and specialized workers being transferred within a company. Now, he also blocked those entering on the H-2B seasonal worker visas. This one is used for people that do landscaping, farming, and other types of those types of industries. The visa suspension, which takes effect on Wednesday, which is the 8th, because today is the 9th, so it has already taken effect. It is supposed to go on until the end of the year. It is said that this move will actually open up 525,000 jobs for U.S. workers, a senior administration official has said on a phone call to reporters. So if this move is going to open up 525,000 jobs for Americans, then you must understand that in a political year, as in a year where we're required to vote, or not required, but there will be an election this year. So it's an election year. So the candidates in the election are pulling out all the stops. And if you remember clearly, when Donald Trump ran for president, he ran on the immigration ticket, building a wall, creating jobs, stopping people from coming into the country who he believes did not deserve to be here, etc., etc., etc. So it's no surprise that under this whole COVID thing, he would pull something like this. So the official, who did not explain how the administration actually arrived at that figure of a number of the 525,000 jobs that they are saying on behalf of Donald Trump's administration that it would create, but said that the move was geared at getting Americans back to work as quickly as possible. But businesses, including major tech companies and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, has said that the visa suspensions would stifle the economic recovery after the damage done by the pandemic. Critics of the measure say that Trump is using the pandemic to achieve his long-standing goal to limit immigration. I don't see how this is supposed to help. I don't see how this is supposed to help. Yes, on one hand, it's going to create 525,000 new jobs, according to them. But on the other hand, and this is my personal opinion, on the other hand, these companies that require these foreign workers in order to run will now probably be forced to take on American workers who, of course, they have to pay way more. And not to mention, taking them on full-time would mean probably also providing some kind of healthcare incentive that goes along with the job after you are a full-time employee. So these companies are about to take a hit. But on the other hand, they could stand to take a hit because throughout the pandemic, big name companies like these have actually more than quadrupled their profits. So they're saying that this is all about his original intent, which was to limit immigration. Now, the proclamation immediate effects are likely to be limited as U.S. consulates around the world remain closed for most routine visa processing. The proclamation exempt those who are already in the United States of America, as well as valid visa holders abroad, but they must have an official travel document that permits entry into the United States of America. Immigration attorneys were working on Monday to determine what the order might mean for clients that are now out of the country. See, under all this also falls student visa. There are talks about if your classes go online, and you got to think about how many people are here attending schools. And because of the whole lockdown thing, the whole COVID thing, the whole pandemic thing, most schools went to online. Trump has used that now to say that if your classes has moved from the building to online, from the classroom to online, then you can do those classes from your country. So if you're here on one of those visas and it's all about school on your visa and your classes, because of the whole lockdown thing, has moved to online, you're here as a student. So you're not even supposed to work. You don't have a working visa. You're only here as a student. So if it moved to online, you would probably be in your housing, wherever you are housed, doing your classes online. Why not just do them from your country is what he is basically saying. So the measures also exempts food supply chain workers and people whose entry is deemed in the national interest. So the suspension will include work authorized J visas for cultural exchange opportunities. The suspension will include work authorized J visas for cultural exchange opportunities, including camp counselors and au pairs, babysitters, maids, whatever you want to call them, as well as visas for the spouses of the H-1B workers. Get it? Republican Trump is running for re-election on November 3rd and has made a tough immigration stance a central pitch to voters, although the coronavirus, faltering economy, and nationwide protests over police brutality have actually overshadowed this whole immigration issue. So with all that is going on, the not riots, but the marchings and the protesting, and the people are more paying attention to that, while Donald Trump's administration is actually making moves and putting policies in place immigration-wise to basically have a lot of people stopped from coming into the country, or those who are here, there will be a lot of them that might have to leave. Now, the president has faced pressure to restrict work visas from groups that seek lower levels of immigration, as well as some Republican lawmakers. And in the statement, BSA, the Software Alliance, whose members include Microsoft and Slack, they urge the administration to refrain from restricting employment of highly skilled foreign professionals, adding, These restrictions will negatively impact the U.S. economy, the decreased job opportunities for Americans, and it will decrease job opportunities for Americans. That is what the tech company is saying. I don't understand how, though, if your foreign workers are not able to come in because their visas have been barred for a while, or suspended rather, how would that decrease job for Americans? These companies will have to fill that slot. And Trump is trying to make them fill that slot using Americans. But like I explained earlier, that is to a higher cost. Now, Doug Rand, who is the founder of Boundless, which is a pro-migrant group that helps families navigate the U.S. immigration system, he actually said that the fact that the H-2A visas used to bring in foreign farm workers were exempt signals that big agriculture interests are the only stakeholders with any sway over immigration policy in this administration. H-2B visas, which were included in the suspension, have been used by Trump-owned or Trump-branded businesses, including his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. Wow. Many business groups were lobbying against a temporary visa ban before it was announced. They could lobby all they want to lobby. It still went through. Now, Sarah Pierce, who is a policy analyst with Washington Post, she's based in Migration Policy Institute, estimated that the new ruling would block 219,000 foreign workers through the rest of this year alone. This is a policy that could go on past December, all depending on how Corona deals with us, or how we deal with Corona. 219,000 foreign workers could be affected and blocked from coming in for the rest of this year. This is introducing more chaos into an already chaotic situation for a lot of the U.S. companies, she said. The administration is making the assumption that these companies did not already look at the U.S. labor market, which most of them do before they get involved in a complicated process of trying to bring in foreign workers. Mitch Wexler, a managing partner at law firm Fragoman, said that the order would hurt his social media and wireless communication clients and other tech companies. Employees wouldn't pay a lot of money to file these applications and hire lawyers like me if they could hire an American for these positions, he said. Guess what? Lies they tell on both sides. Okay? What you're saying then is there are no Americans that are qualified, skill-wise, intelligence-wise to handle these high-tech positions, so you have to have people from overseas. If that's the case, then they need to fix up the education system in the United States of America, correct? On the other hand, I do not believe that there are no Americans that are capable of holding these positions. As I said before, this is about money. The bottom line is they would have to pay Americans way more in salary than they pay people who are foreigners, much cheaper. Now, the senior Trump also renewed an April proclamation. So not only did he pass this one, he also renewed an April proclamation that blocks some foreigners from permanent residency in the United States, extending what met that measure until the end of the year. Get that? He also renewed. So all this time we're distracted looking at the protesting that's going on and all the other drama that's taking place, right? Dealing with the lockdown and everything else. He also renewed an April proclamation that blocks some foreigners from permanent residency in the United States. And he is extending that throughout the rest of 2020. So if you were one of those and you're looking to have your paperwork approved, don't look for it to happen anytime in 2020. The senior administration officials said that that proclamation freed up roughly 50,000 jobs for Americans, but it did not provide details, as usual. The visa suspension issued on Monday narrows an exemption for medical workers in Trump's April ruling to include only people that were working on coronavirus research and care. Those are the only people that would be allowed to stay if they are already here or to enter if they are outside of the country. Wow. The Trump administration will make several other moves to tighten rules around the whole temporary visa, work visa issue. Tighten rules. The administration actually plans to rework the H-1B visa program so that the 85,000 visas that are available each year actually go to the highest paid applicants instead of the current lottery system, the senior administration official said. I just think that they're using this to implement what he already spoke about earlier in the year, which was using the immigration system to only bring in people who are highly skilled and people who are capable of holding these high-paying positions. So in other words, then, only the best of the best from outside should be allowed in through this process. So if you're not highly skilled, highly trained, highly educated at a top level, then you, my friend, might not stand a chance at all. It also plans to issue rules making it harder for companies to use the H-1B1 visa program to train foreign workers to perform the same job in another country, the official said. Wow. Both moves would likely require regulatory changes. The Trump administration is also taking steps to limit work permits for asylum seekers, finalizing a regulation on Monday to remove a requirement to process such permits within 30 days. So that will not be processed within 30 days anymore. A separate asylum measure is set to be finalized by tomorrow, Friday, which is the 10th of the 7th, 2020. That would greatly limit asylum seekers' access to work permits. So you're coming here, you're trying to seek asylum, you will be waiting in vain because definitely you won't be issued a permit to go to work anytime soon either. I don't know how that will work out as far as your survival would go. Are they going to keep these people in facilities and then charge it to the government, which will ultimately be charged to the taxpayer's pocket, really, while their situation is worked out to where they get a decision? Yes, you've been approved for asylum, you can stay, or no, you have not been approved, so you have to leave, kind of thing. Who will be taking care of these people in the meantime if they're not allowed work permits? Anyhow, that's the official update on U.S. visas being canceled or revoked or suspended, and who will be affected and who is still in the safe zone. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me if you are affected or if you know someone that is affected, and tell me what you think about these new policies and the tactic used to bring these in while everyone was not looking or paying attention. It's SoFlo TV. Best wishes on your immigration journey. May it all work out the way you want it to. Peace.